The development of this approach is very similar to what happened with the person-centered approach. Uh, the foundational paper, the initial discussion paper, came out of a time I spent in Norway with psychologist colleagues there. And when I went to Norway, I had no notion of anything called motivational interviewing. And it arose from our talking to each other and interacting with each other around how you would work with clients. And they would ask me to demonstrate the way in which I was working with people, and they would stop and say, "Now, what are you thinking? You reflected something the client said. Well, of all the things the client said, why did you reflect that? Or you asked a particular question. Why did you ask that question when you could have asked many other questions?" And they literally evoked from me a way of having a conversation about change with people that I was unaware of doing. I wasn't really conscious of the decision rules that I was indeed using. And in fact, I was lecturing on a very different kind of approach. I was trained as a behavior therapist. And yet those things fit together well. So I came back from the sabbatical and began testing this out just to see if there was anything to it. And 30 years later, we're still going. There are something like 450 controlled trials in the literature now, and just an enormous literature on the process of therapy, exactly the way Rogers pioneered it, of recording and listening to sessions and asking whether the things that we think are true really are true, knowing that our beliefs are just hypotheses. And consequently, the approach has changed over those 30 years substantially as we've learned more over time. But it didn't start from a theory. It started from practice.